Come on, Jack, hurry up. Where are you?
Yeah,
Oh,
sorry,
Jack.
sorry.
Jack, what are you doing, mate? This isn't Indiana Jones.
I'm sorry. Wrong movie. My
Doing
Uh,
bad.
solo today. What do you mean?
it's not even Harrison.
And we're back. Thanks for joining us on the Coruscant Knights podcast. Again, we're happy to have you here. My name is Cooper, and alongside me, as always, is Mark
Hello there.
and Indiana Jones.
I think you
Uh,
meant Han Solo.
hello.
And Jack, of course.
Yeah,
How you guys doing today?
Decent.
lovely.
Decent? Lovely. All right. So, if you hadn't guessed by the intro,
How are
or
you, Cooper?
well,
Yeah.
thank you for asking. I'm doing all right, thank you. I'm
That's good.
a
I'm
bit hungry
glad.
actually.
Yeah,
Yeah, gonna go get some food after this. But
nice.
today, like I was saying before, we're gonna talk about Solo, a Star Wars story. It is the next chronological movie after the prequels. That's probably the best way to
Yeah,
describe it.
Yep.
And we've already had a little bit of a chat about this. This is something that's probably gonna be a bit divisive, um, amongst us. So we
that'll
will.
be fun.
It will be
I can't wait.
fun.
I can't wait
Got a
to
got a
review
couple of differing opinions on this. Just before we begin, a reminder we do have social media: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and Patreon. If you want to go check out Patreon, the link is via our Instagram bio. If you're checking out our YouTube page and you want to check out our socials, they're linked in our channel banner. For those who are listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, go check out the YouTube version as well. We've got face cam and you'll be able to match some voices to some faces, which will be good. And if you guys are watching on YouTube, go check it out on Apple Podcasts and Spotify as well. That'd be greatly appreciated. Okay.
And of course, as always, thank you to our two Patreons.
Yes. Thank you to Ben and Nikita for their continued support. All right. Solo, a Star Wars story.
it.
Released at probably the worst possible time for a movie in 2018, May 2018. Is that right?
Yeah, a month
Yeah.
after.
1 month after Avengers Infinity War, one of the biggest
How
movies
unfortunate.
of all time.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, it didn't do very well at the box office.
Hmm.
But regardless, it did come out and we're here to talk about it. So, 5 years ago, it came out. I'm probably going to butcher this name. I'm going to try my best.
Oh no, don't.
Starring Aldrin. Oh no,
He's
I've
already.
already stuffed up. Aldrin Eichridge, is that right? No.
I do not know.
Uh,
That
I'm
man.
sorry. I don't know how to say it. Is it Alden
Aldrin Eichridge.
Ivan
That,
Reich?
yeah, the guy
Something
Jack's
like
pointing
that.
to. So it
This
stars
guy.
him and Amelia Clark, Woody Harrelson, and I can't remember.
Donald Glover.
Paul Bennett.
Donald Glover. And I was also gonna say Paul Bettany.
Bettany, that's
Yes.
one. Bennett.
Yeah,
Bettany. Hmm.
Bettany,
Vision.
yes.
Hmm.
Big actor. Big actors actually.
From Infinity War. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
So, this was probably one of the more strange Star Wars movies because it's the first character-based adventure. It's not focused on the overall Skywalker saga, and it's not like Rogue One where it was about a whole team trying to accomplish a mission. This one's very much focused on Han, and we'll get into this a bit later, but based on the screen time, Han dominates the screen for most of the film. So um, definitely something to be aware of. But so, like we normally do, we'll go through some positives and negatives. I'll go through some quotes. There were not as iconic of quotes in this movie, but there definitely are some. And then we'll do the screen time game again because that's always fun. I think you guys are tired, 1-1.
Hmm.
And then I'll finish with some questions at the end. Okay. Does anyone want to start?
I reckon Jack should start. He's got a good case.
All right. Let's go back to the usual and go positives, I reckon. Oh no, actually no. Let's go negatives.
Hmm.
Because I reckon this is gonna be more
Ooh,
divisive.
again.
Yeah, I reckon it's gonna be more divisive. Um, so to start us off, I think I only have a few negatives about this movie. Not because it's like a perfect movie, just because it's hard to critique a solo, like, well, not pun intended, a solo movie about a character. Not pun intended.
Nice.
But
Nice.
but
That was really funny, Jack. Good job.
I didn't mean to. I was
I know.
so when it's like a solo led film like this, it's it's kind of
Come on, Jack.
I'm crumbling. It's kind of hard to like. You don't have anything to base it off because there's no prior individual led movies, unlike the other Star Wars ones. So how do you really characterize just one person in particular? So I'm just gonna go off plot, I reckon. So the plot for me lacked heavy in terms of how it wasn't very. It was centered around Han, but didn't have big implications for his future that we see him later, and for the Star Wars galaxy. Aside from meeting Chewie and the Falcon and Lando, basically. But let's be honest, like anyone could have made up a story about them meeting. It's not really that high level thinking. And another huge negative is, in my opinion, is the droid relationship with
Yeah.
Lando. Like, I'm not against the idea of it. Maybe I don't know. I don't want to be wrong here. I don't know. There's no droids obviously in real life, but it just doesn't seem right, and it kind of felt a bit jarring to have like that kind of plot line be almost a central factor for having the droid be implemented into the Falcon. And now, when you see it in the original trilogy, you know it's actually that droid through its
If
navigation
I'm not a
system.
huge fan of L3 either.
if I
Yeah.
might just add quickly, that's probably because Ron Howard directed this movie. That's a very Ron Howard story arc to add. If
Oh
anyone's
yeah.
has anyone seen like Arrested Development?
Mm,
Yeah,
mm,
it's a very much
yeah.
like him to do that, and
It's just
um,
random.
yeah, it's
I
very
don't think it was needed. That's the issue I had. I'm like, okay, this is just shoehorned in to have Lando have an extra character development kind of in within it. Um, some other negatives. Uh, yeah, I'm not really sure. I think there was just a lot of characters which made like they didn't take away from Solo, but just a lot of characters that I don't really care to remember or like be like, oh yeah, they're there. Like it's just kind of like why they kind of here. Like I know they're trying to show the team aesthetic with what's his name again?
Beckett.
The Han meets
Beckett.
Beckett. Yeah, like Beckett's team, I didn't really care for apart from the I forgot his name already, but I haven't watched it for a while. But the four arm dude that we see
Rio.
in Fallen Order and stuff, yeah, he's a cool species. I do respect that.
John
But
Favreau cameo.
literally, yeah,
He was a cool character, yeah.
yeah, and any other negatives I might have to think about when you guys start talking about yours. But those are my two major gripes, 100%.
Right.
So,
If it's all right
Um,
with Cooper, I think I'll go next
sure.
because I don't have, same as Jack, I don't have a huge amount, nor are they very specific.
mm,
L3 again, same as Jack, wasn't a huge fan of. With the characters in general, like Jack said again, there was, I don't know if I'd say it was too many or they just weren't notable enough, but I
mm,
don't remember any of their names, for example.
that's true. Apart
Um,
from Beckett, yeah.
apart from Beckett, yeah, he's a main character. And in some points of the movie, I feel like I may have been a little bit bored and found
Yep,
myself getting a bit distracted,
I can agree with that.
Yeah.
which isn't obviously what you want in a movie. But I think that was mainly during the first half. So I feel like
Yeah.
as it gets into the second half, it becomes a lot more enjoyable.
Yeah, very
I
true.
agree
But
completely.
yeah, that's, oh, sorry, you go.
I was just gonna say there's that bit where they go to find Lando. That's probably the most
Oh yeah,
boring bit
that's
of the
dragging.
whole movie.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
But yeah, I completely agree with you.
Yeah, they were the main things that I had as the negatives.
I thought
So,
the start was exhilarating though. That's I'll talk about that later, but that's one of my positives actually.
yeah, the start was good.
Yeah. All right,
All right, my turn.
here we go. All right, prepare an hour long.
Oh,
Get ready, everyone. This will be a long time.
Get your popcorn
first
out,
of all, I'll
maybe a
just
blanket,
say
have a sleep.
I didn't dislike this movie. I thought it was pretty good.
Okay.
I'd only seen it once before I rewatched it.
You guys have only both seen it once after rewatching.
Yep,
Mm.
that was my
Really?
second time watching it on the rewatch. It was my
I
second
tried
time.
rewatching it, but I just couldn't get into it.
On the record, I've watched it 3 times.
Okay.
Not that different,
Hey,
hey.
that's less than once a year, so
And I will
not bad.
admit, this is a positive. This will be a positive for me, is that I was really not looking forward to rewatching this movie, but thankfully, because we decided to review it, I did rewatch it, and I actually found that I really enjoyed it a
That's
lot
good.
more than I remember.
Yeah, that's good. I respect that.
We'll get into the positives in a minute, and I can definitely
Yeah,
agree with you there. Okay, where to begin? I'll agree with you guys. L3 is not a very good character. And the whole droid rebellion, I think, is not very interesting. I think it's shoehorned in just to give L3 more screen time, which she didn't really need. I also think that L3 doesn't even really move like a droid. Like, even when she turns around, it's very
She's a bit too,
human-like.
yeah, a bit too human, a bit too fluent.
Well, it reminds me of K2SO a bit. He moves like a human. They
No,
kind
but
of
he's still got that kind of stiffness when he walks.
Yeah,
his
he
voice sounds
does, and
more
he kind
human.
of bobs up and down.
Yeah.
I
Whereas
think
L3, she looks like a human with droid bits around her.
yeah, yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah, sure. Why not?
This is my controversial opinion here.
Oh God.
I
Here
did
we go.
not like Lando Calrissian in this
Uh,
movie. I
okay, give me
thought,
some
I
reasons.
don't know if that's super controversial because I'm
Yeah.
kind of half on Lando in this
Same.
movie.
I think I'm more positive than negative on him though. I don't think he's a negative for the film.
I don't
Yeah, I
think
agree.
so. Let me just put it out there first. Donald Glover did very well. I thought
Yeah,
did Lando very well, captured the
yeah,
charisma very well. Just what they did with the character, I didn't really like. He was in it not a long period of the movie, and he
Yeah.
didn't
And he didn't
really
really.
impact the story. He was more of a plot device
yeah, that's
to.
true.
He was the one who had the Millennium Falcon, and then just kind of tagged along when he gave them the ship. So it's
Yeah.
like he didn't need to. I feel like he was just in there so that um they could meet, and it explained the future interactions between them in Empire and
Yeah.
Return of the Jedi.
Honestly, I agree because I think now that you mention that, I kind of think they needed to show that best friend dynamic more, aside from them playing cards. Like, let's be honest, you don't become best friends with someone if they just beat you in a card game and find out your tricks.
Well, I don't even know if they're best friends. There's a quote we'll get to later, but just I don't think they're friends in this movie, and
They're
they're
meant
more
to be
just
though. They're
like
like,
business
I
partners.
agree. Yeah, like in Empire, they're like, oh, it's my old friend, and
yeah,
but they don't really show much of a friendship forming between them. If
maybe
anything, it's more of a respect, and only in the gambling sense.
maybe the solo two they were going to branch onto that friendship element and have him tag along at the end. What happens at the end of this one? But because that was actually planned for a while, actually, so that's. I don't think they were expecting such a low box office number and not as critically acclaimed. I think so. Be
Well,
shocked.
let's also remember there was meant to be a Lando TV series coming out
I think that still is, isn't it?
starring Donald Glover.
I think it still is.
It technically is still in the works, but we have heard nothing about
Nothing.
it.
Yeah.
So I
That's
don't know what's
something I
going on there.
completely forgot about, to
Young
be honest
Han would
with you.
No,
show up. He probably
no.
would show up.
Um, my last negative, yes, my last. I don't have that many.
Oh,
I have a little bit of an issue with Han and how he works in this story. And you can say this about any movie, but I feel like he's almost a perfect character. He always,
Do
uh,
you mean in this movie specifically?
yes,
yeah.
in this movie specifically. So I'm thinking more towards the end where he's the one to come up with the plan after, only really following for less than a week, however long the journey goes for. I feel like he's making very important decisions as a rookie. I feel like the decisions he does make are flawless. Um, and I'm even thinking back to the scene right at the end when Han shoots Beckett. Um, just it feels like Beckett didn't even really get a chance to to fight back, which I know is the point. It's a good way to show the character development of Han, but just the fact that he's always doing the right thing and getting away with things he probably shouldn't. And I know it's plot armor, he's the main character and whatever, and we've seen this in other films, but I don't know why it just bothers me in this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna disagree with you on that big time actually, because I think that scene with Beckett, I know because it's only one film, like maybe the development should have happened a bit later, but I think because it shows how smart Han is, even though he's played as in the original trilogy as just some kind of like not flamboyant, but hotshot pilot, like who doesn't give a crap about anything. But
And he's
when
really rash.
yeah, he's just, rough around the edges kind of thing. But he picked up on everything that Beckett told him initially about don't trust anyone. Like, even if they think even though you think they might be your friend, then they're probably not. So I think that wasn't actually. I think he's flawless in terms of he's actually not as like how we portray him in the original trilogy. He's actually a much deeper character than just like a flawed character. And if anything, the only issue I had with Han himself in this film was that I think we didn't get to see the lawless criminal bound like smuggler himself.
That's what I was thinking as well.
He's more
Yeah.
of a rebel
It's
already.
it's slightly missing the Han we meet in A New Hope.
Yeah, exactly. Because in New Hope and stuff, he's a smuggler, right?
Yeah.
But this one, he basically helps them start the rebellion, but then
Yes,
he
exactly.
basically doesn't know who they are later. So I'm like,
That was probably, again, I don't know if I call it a negative, but at the end when he hands over the was it coaxium? Is it? Yep. When he hands it over to those rebels,
new
I
rebels, yeah.
feel like that's something that he wouldn't have done because he didn't become involved with the rebels at all until like
Later.
episode either the end of four, the end of A New Hope.
He would have 100% taken that for money because that's what he.
Yeah, that's what I reckon.
That's
I
what
reckon
I
he
reckon
would
that
have
should
double
be.
crossed them all, took it, and sold it for himself.
That should have been the plot, like the end plot twist, to be like, oh,
Yes.
yeah, he's done the right thing here. You assume the protagonist would give
Yeah.
the materials to the good guys, but then he's like, oh, actually, no, I need
And
it.
he even says, and this to me sounded a bit childish in the movie when he goes, "What do you say? I'm not a good guy. I'm a bad guy," or something
Hmm.
like that.
We don't actually see him be bad.
No.
Yeah, we see a good guy.
He hijacks cars from bad people who are basically enslaving them on his planet. So why would we assume that that's a bad thing because hijacking cars in real life is bad? It's not bad if it's like he's in a
It's a Robin Hood sort of thing.
yeah. So I'm like, I mean, I guess maybe they were trying to go for that, but I think they didn't emphasize it enough. I think.
Well, I do recall reading something. I don't know if it was from Ron Howard or maybe one of the writers, but they were saying that they wanted to portray Han as more of an optimist in this movie. Which I don't. He's not an optimist at all. I mean, he yells at Leia a lot
He's
in
angry
the
a lot
original
and doesn't
trilogy.
trust decisions and
Yeah.
maybe so once again they were planning on doing a second one when the first one was made. Maybe they were going to show that something actually changed him later on, like maybe like something happened after Kira left. Oh, spoiler! After she ended up going with Darth Maul, maybe he just realized, I tried to do the right thing. What has that got me? Like I've lost
Mm.
my girl, I've lost the crew, I have no one again apart from Chewie. So maybe then he goes on the bad route. But
Yeah.
once again, we'll never know because cancelled. So yeah.
I'll just say one last negative, and I only learned this today. Apparently, Jin and Saw Gerrera are meant to appear in the end of this film. And the fact that they weren't makes me a little upset. Just putting it out there. So
Mark and I think, are equally on the board that we didn't really. I think there was a need for shoehorning.
Yeah,
I don't know.
but not
Just
really.
you guys talk about a negative of the
Because
interconnectedness to the Star Wars universe. This could have done it.
it's just as we were just saying about like it was too heavily rebel related. I feel like if Saw and Jin were there,
It'd be like
then that it would be even
rebels.
more
But
too
but
involved with the rebels.
no,
Yeah.
but they weren't rebels. This is before Rogue One. This is
Okay.
when
Oh well,
Jin's still
Saw's been
going
a
around
rebel
as
the
an
whole
assassin.
time. Saw's been
Yeah.
a rebel since the Clone Wars.
Also, hot take here. I am sick of seeing Saw Gerrera in every single thing now. It's honestly really starting to annoy me. We've seen him in like 5 different pieces of media. I've seen him more than I've seen like Luke Skywalker in a sequel trilogy. Like, what's happening here? Like, how am I seeing more Saw than Luke?
Personally, I disagree. I like Saw.
Yeah,
He's
I
cool.
as well.
No, I
You
like him.
know what I like about
I didn't
Saw?
like seeing him
The
in
fact
Bad
that
Batch.
he's like presented as like a morally grey rebel. Like
I liked him in
the
Rogue
rebels
One.
aren't squeaky clean like you think.
Yeah.
That's what I like about him.
No, see, this is what I'm trying to say. I liked him in Rogue One, and I liked him in Andor. It follows his character, shows how he develops. But in Bad Batch, it felt such a shoehorn. I'm like, why is it always Saul Guerrero out of all? Like, there are other rebel people. Why can't we not meet someone else? Like, why can't we not meet someone new? It's
But
always
Saw Gerrera is like a big presence in the rebellion.
all right. We're not going into Saul, but
No, we're
I
not.
just think we don't need him in this movie again. That would have been another piece of
We'll
media.
talk about him next week with Rogue One.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally.
All right. Who wants
All
to
right,
go to the
we're doing
positives?
positives. Could I start?
Yeah.
Yep. So most of mine are pretty minor ones, and the main one is just that it's a lot more enjoyable than I remember it being, and I like the plot, most of the plot. But in terms of the smaller details, right, like just small things like how we see how Han gets his DL-44
Mm,
blaster. I
yeah,
like that scene. I find that
so
cool.
cool. Yeah.
I also, that when I first started the rewatch of the movie, I wasn't a huge fan of Han joining the Empire,
I like
but
that.
I actually, as the scenes progressed, I really enjoyed it actually. And I thought it was quite a cool backstory for him. I didn't remember it. I've seen the movie before. I don't remember him being a part of the Imperials.
I
So
think if I might just add, I think it almost represents like citizenship with the Empire in charge. The fact that they're being enlisted into these uh these battles and to be soldiers when they don't really want to, and then when they get there, it's like, oh my God, I want to get back.
Honestly, one of my
yeah,
favorite scenes in the entire movie, to be honest, was that when they cut from him saying, "Oh, you joined the thing, you go here," and then it cuts to like Beckett and his crew like doing all the business on that planet with the walkers and stuff. Really cool cinematography.
Actually,
with oh, sorry, you go, Cooper.
did you guys know that that Battle of Mimban specifically, it's very much like the Umbara arc, where they had Imperial forces fighting against each other.
I
Hmm.
didn't know that.
How cool was Beckett's
Does it show that in the movie?
No.
no.
No. Okay.
How cool is Beckett's gun flips like Jango Fett?
Yeah.
Literally
Cool.
so cool seeing that again. I love seeing that stuff. So cool.
Another little thing about that battle though that I liked is how they're not just stormtroopers. Like
Mm.
we see the actual Imperial infantry, which is kind of a overlooked sort of aspect.
More of a rebel thing you see mostly. Yeah.
Because I mean, they're not, but the stormtroopers are meant to be like the elite of the army.
Mhm.
So I find it cool that we get to see like just the ordinary infantrymen.
Yeah, ground troops.
And another great positive is this guy here, Chewbacca. I really liked him in this movie.
Yeah.
Mm. I
We
respect.
mentioned it last week with Revenge of the Sith. I'm not so sure how I feel about him going from knowing Yoda and being in the Battle of Kashyyyk to some monster
He's
in like
trapped.
a little like a rancor essentially. But I mean, I didn't particularly like that, but I liked him as a character in the movie and his relationship with Han. And I feel like that is the exception to the rule that he was taught of don't trust anyone. I feel like he really trusts Chewbacca throughout this movie.
Mm.
And we were saying how we didn't see the relationship form between Han and Lando. Well, at least we got to see the relationship form between Han and Chewbacca, and I really enjoyed that.
Yeah,
Yep.
especially when
I
he
agree.
helped him release the Wookiees and
Yeah,
Lando, shows that he cares about the people he cares about. It's
yeah.
good. That's really good.
And I think I'll end it off with I was saying this to the other two before we started. I actually wasn't entirely sure what Crimson Dawn actually was. So I had to look it up as I was starting the movie. And that it made me understand why Mole was in the movie. Because the
Oh,
first time I saw it, I just thought Mole was
Val.
just like I just thought he was a cameo pretty much. And that's why I was so confused. And I have mentioned it in another episode of the podcast. And I was like, why is Mole there? And then he didn't come in later. But now I understand why. So for that, that's all on me.
Yeah, that's good.
Jack.
That's
I think that was pretty much it though. And if you guys say anything that might jog my memory, then I might chime in.
yeah.
Jack, you want to go?
Yeah, sure, I'm ready. All right. So thoroughly liked Han Solo in this one actually. I enjoyed watching him on screen. I didn't get annoyed with him too much. Liked seeing a backstory of him. Thought he was one of the obviously he was a trio main character for the originals, and we honestly know the least amount about him until kind of now, so it's good. Um, I love the relationship, like you said, with Chewie.
With
Thoroughly
Wookiee.
with the Wookiee. Um,
Actually, that was another thing that was pretty funny was that Han could speak a bit of the Wookiee language.
yeah, it was probably shoehorned in just so
Yeah,
they can speak to each
yeah,
other.
yeah.
Um, you didn't mention this, but I actually really like Dryden Boss. Like, I thought we needed to get more of him because I thought there was not an overarching villain as such. It was more like you don't want to double cross him. It was more like, oh, don't threaten him, don't don't lie to him. You have to do what he says. But it's not really like it was like because if you think about it, all the conflict and stuff that happened throughout the movie was a lot about emphasis and like other people trying to steal the same sort of thing until like the very end. Aside from their like fight scene within that ship, Dryden's like not in for it all, and I thought that was underused. You don't really see him do much apart from kill that guy at the start when they first.
Yeah, I can see that.
I'll touch on this a little bit later. I think Dryden's a very complicated character. Just even though his mannerisms towards the end
Mm,
when he grabs Kira's hair quite forcefully, like he's trying to uh show his power,
yeah.
even though he doesn't have maybe physical power, he's trying to
I don't
show
know.
his
Not sure about the physical part. Do you see scars? They every time
well,
we
no, no. So
like
maybe just okay, in comparison to someone like Chewbacca, who
mm,
is really strong, Dryden is maybe just trying to show that he's not to be messed with, like you were saying. But yeah, I think that Paul Bettany does a really good job as
yeah,
Dryden.
I like him as a
Really
villain.
good job.
That's why I wanted more of him.
I agree, and he's pretty sinister.
Well, we did get him in Clone Wars.
Yeah, but that's not like a real. That's just a cameo. Like, oh, there's Dryden Voss. Like, I want more. In other words, I wouldn't mind seeing more Dryden Voss. I think he was a pretty cool character, and I like that. I love anything to do with Star Wars criminal underworlds and like the villain side of stuff. And I don't think we've gotten enough. I don't count the Book of Boba Fett showing us a bit of pike action. I want actual underworld crime, and I don't count the fake Boba Fett Jabba the Hutt underworld. That does not count. That's not. I'm not counting the biker gang as an actual mafia. Like what is happening here? But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the Crimson Dawn side, and I think that's what almost got me to like the plot of it. Like seeing how Han was almost contending with such a big threat, who we now at the end realized it was Maul too,
Yeah.
which is
And also, just quickly, I think it's interesting the way Kira also talks about Crimson Dawn. Like,
she's
once
scared.
you're in, you can't get out. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I
Yeah,
can't leave
yeah,
with you because
pretty
they will
scary,
follow me. They
pretty
will
scary
follow me.
stuff.
Okay, I didn't really like her character so much, but I thought her fighting style and technique and how she actually, I know people don't fall for plot twists a lot, but actually I thought she was going to go with him until obviously she closed the blinds and said, I'm not coming with you. I'm like, oh, she probably, but at first I thought when they were fighting each other, I thought she was actually going to go with him, you know? So I was like, yeah, pretty cool character, but nothing to like rave about kind of thing. Um, Drun's weapons were really cool too. Just seeing something unique like
Yeah,
that.
they were pretty interesting.
Yeah, I was gonna say you don't really see. It's always blasters and just lightsabers, really. You don't really see any other weird space tech.
Yeah,
I've talked a lot about the positives of Drun. What else did I really like? I like Beckett's character. I thought he was
yeah.
very generic, but I
I
kind
think
of
Woody did a good job in this
yeah,
film.
but I thought he was a very generic character, right? But I kind of liked that it was generic. I liked how they didn't try to make him like, oh, he has morals and stuff. Like they
Yeah,
kind of insinuated that he liked the girl and they wanted to settle down later. But all in all, he's just a guy who doesn't trust anyone and will do anything for himself,
yeah.
which is generic.
Self-interest.
But I like it. I liked it. Um, okay, here we go. I know Cooper's not going to like this. He didn't say it's a negative, but I don't think he really cares for it that much. But I think it was a massive positive. I thoroughly enjoyed the music in this film. Like, once again, not John Williams. So going into it, I was a bit like when I went to see it in the movies, I was a bit like I wonder how the music, because Star Wars, it's not just about that. It's not just about everything that's happening on screen. It's also a lot about the music.
Yeah,
So I thought the music in this was really good, and especially Emphas Nest theme. I thought it was really cool with the choir and the kind of instrumental bits of it. I just thought it made it a bit more like powerful, I guess you could say, and just
yeah,
more exciting in the battle. Because I thought the train battle especially wasn't the most exciting, but having someone else try and steal the same thing made it a bit more of like a tug of war type of
mm,
situation, which gave it a bit more like threat. Like I didn't think the probe droid threat of like the other side of the bridge was that like big, and I thought the lady could have probably jumped off or had some sort of other backup measure. Like, come on, how they not think about that?
yeah. Like she had a grapple gun at the start. Like,
Yeah,
didn't she have it with her?
just nitpicks. But
Yeah,
I don't know. I just really enjoyed the music with the action scenes. I liked how Han was always willing to. I liked how it showed that he's willing to shoot first too. Like he's not going to shy away from killing someone in cold blood, kind of like how Andor was portrayed. I kind of wish a
mm,
bit more like that to show like how he's portrayed into this kind of like
outlaw.
leader within the rebellion in the original trilogy. I think that's what I probably would have preferred the most. Um, honestly, this is my final bit. Honestly, I did like seeing Maul just because I like Ray Park as like Maul, but I did think it was just heavily like, oh, we need someone big to kind of like show up at the end here.
Mm,
Otherwise, I want to either like see because this is a tangent here, but there's a lot of other films and other franchises that rely heavily upon having a big star or a big person show up at the end of a film to bring people just to even get to watch that scene. Fast and Furious did it with Dominic Toretto and Tokyo Drift, and it also happened with the recent movie Black Adam that didn't work with Superman.
Yeah,
Back.
yeah.
They
That's what I
really
was
rely
thinking
on,
of.
yeah, they really rely on like the main star, like and Darth Maul we haven't seen live action apart from Phantom. So I thought, yeah, I understand why they did it to bring people, but I also didn't understand why he like ignited his lightsaber just to flex it in front of it
Yeah,
and
I was confused about that as well. I was like, why is
then
he
deguard
igniting
it
his
and just be like,
lightsaber?
yep,
I
you're
know
done.
why. I know why.
Threat.
Well, threat and intimidation.
Yeah,
To basically, he's saying, okay,
have to come.
this has happened. Don't cross me.
Yeah, I get that, but then I think it was just kind of corny. It came up corny to me.
Hey, it's a lightsaber.
But Maul's voice and Maul's appearance alone, I feel like he's one of the villains
His
that
voice, yeah, his
yeah
voice. That's really
that,
what does it.
that gets away with being menacing without having
Yeah.
to be physically like, yeah, I'm
And the
tough.
way he like just sits on the chair,
Yeah,
like
like
he
just like
looks intimidating.
yeah. I was like, you have one of the scariest looking characters in the whole Star Wars thing, and you nitpick, but I thought, yeah, I would have liked to see more in live action. Don't know if it's going to happen ever again, sadly. But I loved how what happened with him in the animation, but I really want to see more Maul in live action. It would have been really cool to see. I think it's underutilized, 100%.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are my
All right.
positives.
Before Cooper quickly starts, I thought of one that I think Jack, I'm pretty sure we both forgot to mention that we said before we started is Han Solo himself. Like we feel like Alden did a really good job portraying him.
I think I maybe mentioned it at the very start. When we
Did
talked
we?
about it.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. Because it's just the looks that's deceiving.
Yeah,
That's the only thing that doesn't seem very Han like.
yeah. I think like especially this photo like image here. I
Yeah,
think his
it
body
doesn't.
language is
You don't
showing.
think it's Han.
Yeah, it's more like I want to be Han almost kind of.
Same with this. Same with this one behind me with Chewbacca.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not really sure about that, but yeah, I thoroughly thought, in my opinion, it was just a fun film that I had a lot more fun with compared to a lot of other Star Wars films in the
Yeah,
franchise. So that's why I don't mind a rewatch, and it's something you can put on that you don't have to focus too hard.
yeah,
There's like implications for future stuff. So yeah, I had fun with it. I enjoyed it.
I agree.
Okay. All right. Now, my first point I'm going to make quickly is one that I didn't even have written down, but is one that I actually think is probably the standout positive. The action in this movie is phenomenal. I think not just even from the battles we get. You guys said the train battle is a bit boring. Um, yeah, I mean it's a middle of a
Right.
heist, but I think it's pretty ingenuitive in like incorporating different things, like even the stormtroopers walking out with the gravity boots. That was
Yeah,
cool idea. And even just the compartment, the different train compartments swinging between like the control of different people. That's pretty cool.
yeah. I just thought tension. There wasn't because especially how
Mm,
the trailer made it seem like Chewie's gonna die. Like what?
yeah,
Like what is going on
yeah.
here? Why is this happening? Like of
Yeah,
course, I think the tension wasn't there, which that
I
was.
agree. I think that's why it was a bit on the boring side.
Hmm.
Maybe
And
not,
as I
but I
said
think
earlier, I found myself getting slightly distracted during that part,
Yeah, it's easy to like switch away from.
which is why when Cooper just before mentioned the gravity boots, I didn't even notice it because at that point I was a little distracted.
Hmm. Fair enough.
But like, so even with the Kessel, the battle at Kessel, I
Hmm.
think not maybe what's happening because obviously it's like just blasters going off and whatever, but just the whole situation there, and they're trying to. It's another heist, really. They're trying to extract something from the Kessel mines, and at the same time, there's this revolution going on. So it's like there's a lot happening, and
Which
then with
was not part of the plan. That was all L3.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then with the last battle, in the yacht, it's like a every man for themselves battle,
Yeah.
which I
I
thought
did
was
like
pretty
that.
cool.
That was
I'll
very
also
cool.
just quickly mention, I thought the shots and the cinematography and the flying was really, really good.
Forgot to mention that.
The flying was
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah,
They absolutely nailed it.
How
I
cool was
agree.
that scene with the Star Destroyer in
Oh
that?
yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
Yes.
that
was
is
cool.
That gave me
iconic.
goosebumps. I'm not gonna
That is
lie.
so iconic. That is what
Yeah.
the Empire should be like portrayed. I thought the Empire in this movie was actually portrayed very well, considering we didn't have Andor then and didn't have like even as much as I hate the Bad Batch like actually does a lot of Imperial side of stuff, like especially with Tarkin and everything. So I think this was actually the first time we proper see like um the Empire looking actually more menacing than
Yeah,
other.
considering the Empire wasn't really an antagonist in the film, they did a good job with
Yeah,
it.
100%, 100%. Yeah.
That's
And in
actually a good.
terms of, oh, sorry, yeah, you go, Cooper.
No, you go because mine's a point.
Yeah, so was mine. I was going to say that in terms of the visuals and cinematography, the when they implement the coaxium into the fuel thing, the engine, that was a
Yeah.
cool scene.
Oh yeah, because
Like
we never really knew how it worked.
not yeah, not just the ship flying off super fast, but even there's a little like short, what do you call it, like series of events where the fuel gets injected into the engine. Like
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty really cool touch.
Also forgot to mention that big beast when they were Kessel running it. How
Yeah,
cool.
that
I
was
actually
cool.
really liked that. That got me
Yeah,
more tensed up than the other stuff because I was like
yeah,
music behind it and seeing like the tentacles trying to like wrap up. I thought that was
yeah,
cool. A
yeah.
weird thing, but cool. It makes the Kessel Run more
Star
memorable.
Wars Kraken.
That's
100%.
it. I feel like they had to probably nail the Kessel Run just because of how iconic that line
Iconic
was.
pieces. Yeah, I
Yeah.
did the Kessel Run in something about parsecs, which I forgot already. Yeah.
Wow,
And then like
what a Star Wars fan you are. You don't even know how many parsecs.
Dude, I get confused because he lies about it sometimes. You know what I mean? He always makes it seem like he did it faster, but then everyone goes, "Nah, that's not true. It was like this many." You know? So I always get the numbers mixed up. Yeah.
All right. I don't know if I'm gonna speed through these, but I'll go through them. So I thought the plot was pretty engaging.
Well, Cooper,
Obviously, that
didn't you
was.
have another point you want to make quickly?
Oh yeah, I'll get to that. I'll get to that. Yeah. So I thought the plot was engaging, but the twist didn't linger very much. Like the betrayal of Beckett and actually that's kind of and the twist of the Memphis Nest being rebels. I thought it was a good twist, but I don't think it had the effect it was supposed to.
Yeah, I agree. I think I agree with you.
Um, music was good. I didn't really like Memphis Nest theme, sorry. But I thought overall the music they incorporated, like the trench run music, I thought that was really cool. And there was another iconic track. Why can't I remember what it was?
The start scene, the solo theme,
Oh yeah, the Han Solo theme, obviously.
that was so. Oh, I forgot to mention it positive. How good was that opening scene?
Yeah, I was gonna
It
mention that as well.
got me hyped up watching it in the movies, seeing him like sweat and stress firing up that car. I was like, I thought it was a ship at first. It probably should have been a ship. But like anyway, he was like firing it up and then he was like escaping and he was like kind of like a bit like damaged and I was like, oh, this is cool. I was like, this
Yeah,
I mean
no,
yeah.
And
that was
also,
perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
what about when he like how he wasn't even known as Han Solo and he was given that name by an Imperial?
Don't like that name. Don't like how they did that.
I don't
Yeah,
really care for it.
I wasn't a huge fan of how that's how it was given to him. Like
I
I
wanted
just
him
always
to
thought that
have
was his name.
yeah, exactly.
But I still it was still pretty funny though. Like he's given his name by an Imperial.
Yeah. I just don't understand why they had to make his name such like a thing that happens. I thought it was just his name.
Yeah.
But oh well, who cares?
My next point kind of links to what you guys were just saying about the chase scene at the start. I thought the planets we got in this film were really cool.
Mm,
Corellia was awesome, and it's
awesome.
such a pivotal planet in Star Wars as well.
Yeah.
I wish we got more of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Even with we don't spend much time on them, but Mimban very much reminiscent of Umbara and the muddy kind of it's like reminiscent of the World Wars,
Mm,
just with the trenches and everything.
100%.
Uh, Vandor is pretty forgettable. It's just another snow planet.
Yeah, but I like seeing snow planets. We don't get to see many of them. Like you see Hoth, and then you see that one in Rogue One where they bomb the thing. Kind of that was. Oh no, that was more wet. No,
That
we
was
don't see.
Wobani.
Yeah, I was gonna say we don't really see many wet planets though. Like I mean,
Nah.
snow
With
planets.
Corellia, I thought it was more of a like an always rebel city like Chandrila and Alderaan. I didn't really think it was like a place where basically the slaves labor sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Just
this
wanted
Um,
to mention that
yeah, that's fine.
because they're
Uh,
known for their shipbuilding. Like it doesn't seem like something that would you would expect of that. You know the way it was portrayed.
yeah.
Am I
um,
freezing?
no, you're not freezing. It's all right. Um, I also thought that Saint Kessel was good.
Yep.
And then also I thought Savareen was a really cool planet.
Wait, what
As
was that
much
one?
as it's like sandy and whatever, I don't know. I liked it.
Oh, I like the. Oh, yeah. It's not really planet or place, but scene wise, I like the ship, his yacht thing.
Yeah, yeah, the yacht's cool. It's a bit
Oh,
different because we normally have long ships or fat ships, but we don't have
mhm.
thin ships.
That one
It was
almost felt like its
cool.
own apartment, like city almost.
Yeah.
Felt like a
It
bit
was
more.
cool seeing the interior of the Falcon, but how it looked slightly different,
Yeah.
like
Well,
more modern and
yeah.
clean.
Hmm. Yeah, I love that.
Um, like what you guys were saying before, I thought the Empire and the Rebellion were interwoven into this story really well without having massive impact on the story. Just to show that they're kind of looming and they're there, but this story is focused more on the
Independent.
smugglers and bounty hunters.
People trying to make a quick buck
Yes.
after all that happened in Revenge.
Yep. Really like how they handled Maul's backstory. I don't really dislike that he got solo from an Imperial officer. I thought they did a good job at just, going through his backstory fairly quickly,
Almost too
making us
fast
care about
sometimes.
him. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a little fast, but I didn't dislike it, to be completely honest.
Nah, it's good. Yeah, I still liked it. Yeah.
And then my last positive, I thought Maul was great to see, but I think the bigger implications of Crimson Dawn were really cool because
Yeah.
we haven't really gotten a lot of it. We saw it in the Clone Wars, when Maul was kind of taking over,
Mm.
which was cool, but we didn't really get a lot of information about them. But now we can kind of see, and it helps having seen Clone Wars season 7 where Maul's meeting with a bunch of the leaders. Um,
Let's say.
uh,
Oh no,
sorry, you
sorry.
go.
No, keep going because mine's after it. It'll follow up.
Just I don't know. I really liked even the symbol. Just it's
Yeah.
very, you look at it and it means something is like something terrifying to a lot of people. So
Mm.
I don't know. I like the intimidating and also kind of subdue nature of Crimson Dawn.
The thing is, in regards to like Mole and his little groups and everything that he's had throughout like the Clone Wars and this is so in the Clone Wars, you know when the Mandalorians get their armor and they make it look like Mole? Is that's not Crimson Dawn, is it?
No,
So what is that then?
Mandalorians.
Mortallorians.
Is that really what they're called?
I think they have an
It's
official
been a
name.
long time since I've seen it because I've never really understood
They would
the
despair.
mole bit with his
That's
like
the
little factions. He always has a little group for him. It's
yeah,
always
because he
different.
sways people and
And I
uses
think that's
power.
why I didn't know what Crimson Dawn was as well.
The thing is, though, okay, linking back to Cooper's one about Crimson Dawn, I think season 7 almost is Cooper. Oh no,
Yeah,
sometimes I
no.
feel like he's frozen because he's so good at staying still. So after season 7, when he left after Ahsoka let him out, and he just flies off. I know obviously they're trying to indicate that, oh, he's eventually going to see him again in Solo. But I'm thinking, does that leave the opportunity for even an animated series of Maul and like how bridges his gap? Because honestly, we see him a lot, right? Which I know a
Yes,
lot of people will hate, but I like it. I
I
never.
agree.
We don't really know what happened. Like we obviously know he's with Crimson, but like he looks really old and weathered. So like he goes from like pretty
In
still
Solo.
fit, yeah, pretty still
Yeah.
fit and mobile and agile in Clone Wars, then to how he looks in Rebels. I mean, Solo, and then Rebels where he's like old and like, how did he get down
Yeah.
there?
Well,
Like,
that's
what
what I
happened?
was thinking. I kind of want to see what happened between Solo and Rebels that made
That's
him lose
exactly,
everything,
yeah,
and like why he is taking on this reputation, this identity as an old master.
yeah. But I'm trying to
Little
say
Hermit.
they did a Bad Batch season 1 and 2, now 3, right? Why can't they do a season 1 of where what happens between season 7 and Solo, and then season 2 will be the other gap? That'd be
Yeah,
so
that would be interesting. Yeah, that would be good.
simple, short, mini Clone Wars animated style, or even Rebels, and just bridge his story because we have a lot of his story, but it's so disjointed that
Hmm.
it feels almost like when he shows up, like, oh, how is he still here? What, like, how is he randomly showing up here? you
Yeah,
know?
I got that.
So
I'm
yeah,
sure Sam Witwer would like that.
oh, 100%. He loved him.
So passionate, that man.
Yep.
All right. So, get into some quotes now.
Yes.
Yay.
I don't think there's any meme-worthy quotes
No.
in Revenge of the Sith, but I think there's some good ones in here.
Hmm.
Um, Lando says, "I don't like it. I don't agree with it, but I accept it."
That is funny.
Mhm.
I did love that one so much. Yeah, that was good.
Um, Lando also says, and this is going back to that friendship bit about Han and Lando. Lando
Hmm.
says, "I hate you," and Han says, "I know." Obviously,
It's
a
like,
call to the "I love you, I know" bit in
Can't
Empire.
say I remember that. Must have missed it.
It's on Savareen when they're looking at the Millennium Falcon, which is all just junk
Yeah.
now. Um,
Oh
The
yeah, I think I remember now.
the kind of twist, like play on, well, not play on words, but the twisted line. I've got a really good feeling about this.
Ah, that one I kind of cringed because it's always, and I guess Rogue One did it as well, since it's not considered a main Star Wars movie, that they slightly changed it. Because you know how in Rogue One they don't finish the line.
Yeah, but I think that's
So I guess
it's its
that's what they're
own.
going for, like it's a side movie sort of thing. But I don't know, just it caught me off guard, honestly.
But even in the like setting it's in, he's finally given control of the Millennium Falcon,
Yeah,
and he's
it made
like,
sense
this
in
is his
terms of the
chance. He's like, oh
story.
yeah, let's go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it makes
in the
sense.
story, it made sense. Yeah.
And then later on, he's always, oh no, everything's bad. Ah, I'm bad feeling about it.
Um,
Never tell me the odds.
Yeah,
another Lando quote: "Everything you've heard about me is true."
yeah. Lando's got a lot of actually good. Everything he says in this movie almost feels like a quotable thing.
This one's a Han quote, and I'm gonna try and act it out. You're 190 years old. You look great.
Not too bad, you know. Good
Yeah, that
job.
was pretty good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Um, I'm gonna be a pilot, the best in the galaxy.
yeah. I
Another
like
Han
that.
quote. You're gonna need a nickname because I ain't saying that every time. Says Han to
Chewie.
Chewie.
I don't think there's much wrong with saying Chewbacca, but I understand,
It's
Chewie.
easier, so much
Uh,
easier.
I'm interested to know if you remember this quote. Oh, does she smell nice? Does she have sharp teeth?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yep, yep. That's the forearm dude. Forgot his
Yep.
name.
Lando, another quote says, "Let go of the mean man's face."
Yeah,
Yep.
Um, this is a conversation between Han and Chewie. Han says, "Just did the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs," and then Chewie roars, and then Han says, "Not if you round down."
see, I always get confused with that kind of stuff. You're always trying to fiddle with it.
Maul's quote, I didn't know what to choose, but I thought this one was probably the most interesting. He says, "One man couldn't have done this alone."
True.
Yeah.
That almost makes him seem like who the hell is Han Solo kind of thing. It's actually kind of crazy when you think of it like that.
Yeah.
Like, because you get wrecked by him.
And the last one, which is my personal favorite, comes from Tobias Beckett.
Yeah.
Assume everyone will betray you and you'll never be disappointed.
You know what that reminds me of?
I know what you're going to say, but say
Yeah,
it.
yeah, I also know what you're gonna say.
MJ.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is
That's what
my
reminded me
favorite.
of.
That is my favorite line from Spider-Man as well.
Honestly, take that into life. It's good.
Yeah.
Expect disappointment and you'll never be disappointed.
True. How we expect? Yeah, that's such
That's
a.
how I feel about all the Disney Star Wars projects.
Oh,
Whoa!
jeez, Mark.
Let's go.
Oh, I thought it was going to be you today, Jack, but it's bloody Mark that's doing it.
Always Mark. It's always Mark.
No, it's
Yep.
not. You guys
You
are. Ugh.
randomly get set off. I love it. It's great.
When we get to
Thank you, Cooper.
sequels, I swear.
It's gonna go
Oh,
for
they're gonna be fun.
4 hours of pure
Not to
argument.
watch. Not gonna be fun to watch, but they're gonna be fun to talk about.
Yeah. I'm not rewatching him. I refuse. No, I'm kidding. I just finished him. I've done my whole rewatch. I've
Oh
just
yeah, that's
finished
right.
him.
That's right. That's right.
Did it like 2 weeks ago. I'm not gonna rewatch him again.
I'm looking forward to watching The Last Jedi again. I actually am. I'm not joking.
I'm so sad
I
throughout
haven't
that.
seen it in a while. I'm looking forward to it.
Every 2 seconds, I was like, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't work. Why is this happening?
We're not going to get into this now, but I'm really angry at you, and we're going to have a chat about this later.
We got over a month to wait for that.
Oh no, I'm in trouble.
Yeah, we still got three original movies, one
Rogue
sequel movie,
One.
and Rogue One.
Yeah, it's good. Plenty of good times still ahead.
We got time to mentally prepare for it.
No, don't say
Literally.
that. Oh my God. You guys are impossible. Seriously. Okay, we'll go into who has more screen time.
Yay.
There's not that many characters in this, so it's kind of difficult to do that many, but I've got 7.
Mhm.
Don't just choose
The
the
opposite.
opposite one because you want to get points. Just choose what you want
Yeah, I'm
or
in
what
trouble.
you think.
The last one. Yeah.
Who has more screen time? Kira or Tobias Beckett?
Tobias.
Yep. Tobias.
No points to anyone.
Really.
I'm actually
Kira has
Very
29 minutes
surprising.
and 30 seconds. Beckett has 22 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yes, Kira was throughout the start, randomly in the middle, and at the end, when Beckett was probably just middle to end. I don't know. Yeah.
Who has
Interesting.
more screen time? Beckett or Chewbacca?
Chewie.
They're both in like the same time almost. I'm
It
going
is
Chewie.
close. I'll admit it is close between these
Yeah,
two.
they both showed up at the same time on the same planet, and I'm going Chewie still there. Yeah.
Wow, we are 0 for 2. That is not good.
Oof.
Beckett, 22 minutes 30. Chewie, 21 minutes 30.
Oh wow, that is so close.
But that, okay, whatever. Who has more
That's
screen
the
time,
point of the game.
L3 or Dryden Voss?
L3.
L3.
We are 0 for 3 to
Are
start
you
this
serious?
L3 has 7 minutes 15, Dryden 7 minutes 30.
All I'm gonna say, this
What's
makes a
15
comment
seconds different?
on how much the movie just cuts between so many different characters.
Yeah, but like that's the point of this game.
One
And
was barely in it there, I swear. That's crazy.
Yeah, I know, right?
all right, let's try and avoid going 0 4. Who has more screen time, Val or Emphas Nest?
Which one's Val again?
The one at the start. She
The love
the
interest
suicide
of Beckett,
bombs.
is it?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm gonna
Emphas.
say Emphas.
No way.
What?
Are we 0 for 5?
What'd you say, Jack?
Oh, Emphas.
Oh yeah, you are 0 for 4. Val has
What?
more screen time than Emphas Nest. 5 minutes 15, 4 minutes 15.
Are we gonna go 0 for 7?
Lies. This is so lies.
We only need one really to win.
I have faith in you guys that you're gonna get this.
Ugh.
And I want you to say it at the same time so we don't have any
I count us in there. Let me think about
Yeah,
it. We
yeah.
have to think, yeah.
I'll give you 5 seconds of thinking time.
And then count us down.
Who has more screen time? Darth Maul or Lady Proxima? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Lady.
Yay!
Yeah.
Round of applause. Well done,
Woo, good job,
guys.
Jack. High five.
Yeah. Just because of the start.
Maul has 45 seconds, Lady Proxima at minute 15.
Yeah, confident.
Who has more screen time? Lando or Dryden Voss?
Lando.
Lando.
All right, we're on a roll, 2 each.
Yeah.
Yes.
1 left.
If we say the same one, it's gonna
Yeah,
be a
no.
draw.
So I'll count you in again just to avoid that.
Okay.
But we could be going for 2 draws here. Who has more screen time?
Ooh, I'm scared.
Rio,
Who's
Which one's
Rio?
that again?
the forearm guy,
Okay.
Okay.
or Val? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Val.
Rio.
We have a winner.
Damn.
Who's it?
Val has 5 minutes 15. Rio has 3 minutes.
Oh no.
Well done, Jack.
Good job, Jack.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Mark.
Congrats. Where's the hand? There it is.
My hand is in existence.
Well done, guys.
Oh, I was so
that,
close to saying Val, and I was like, nah.
that
Yeah, I
was
feel like he
probably
died early in the fight.
the worst I've ever seen you guys perform, but Jack, you pulled through.
Thank you, thank you. I think it's because there's so many different characters you can't really track aside
Well,
from
there's not
Han and
really that
Chewie.
many characters, to be completely
but-
honest.
No, but there's a lot. But like they only show up for like
There's a
good
lot of
periods.
minor characters.
Yeah.
Like you could say so many other ones. You could say like you could say even the dude at the state the one that says his name solo
The
The
Imperial guy.
Imperial officer or whatever.
because he's probably in the same amount of time as Darth Maul probably almost.
Yeah.
Similar to that.
All right. We'll finish with some questions. I'm kind of hesitant to ask this one just because we've kind of been discussing it already.
Mm.
And you guys can change what I'm asking actually, if that works. What did you think of the rebels being portrayed as the initial villains of the story?
Good.
I want to flip that around because I didn't like that the villains became the rebels who became good guys.
I liked it because I thought that it shows that the rebels at this point in time weren't the ones that we see later. They're like kind of a bit more rogue-like and will do anything, even killing people to get their own stuff kind of thing. You know what I mean?
I enjoyed them as the Marauders, as they were, personally.
That's who they're still called. They're not rebels yet, are they? They don't have the name.
Not yet.
Like just
It's
as
kind
the
of-
like the faceless villains, I kind of liked it. Like like a cartel, like all these different groups, like that sort of thing. Like the Pikes, the Marauders, the Crimson Dawn.
Okay.
Yeah.
All the different factions.
All right. Who, in your opinion, is the best character in this movie?
Chewie. Although
Right.
I do like, and I think it's mainly for the actual portrayal, Beckett's character. I think I just like Woody Harrelson's acting a lot.
Dryden.
Dryden, yeah.
I'm
And
saying
I would
Chewie
I
still.
would I would say it's kind of a tie between Beckett and Kira for me. I
Kira.
thought Kira's story is quite interesting.
I thought Beckett. We don't usually have that many good villains who aren't Sith or like Force wielders. So I thought he was actually a good one, for Star Wars.
Who is the most interesting character?
Hmm.
I'll go.
Got two.
Beckett.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah,
say
I was
Beckett
thinking
or
I'm going to say
Emphas.
Beckett as well.
Beckett or Emphas, because you only get a little bit of her backstory. You know where she leads up into. Even if you
Mm,
don't like her, I think she's interesting.
yep.
Did you say you do know where she ends up?
No, you don't.
Yeah, I was going to say.
That's why she's
She
interesting, I think.
ends up in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
As a flag smasher. Oh, not a great show, but it's all right.
Wasn't it? Oh yeah, yeah. Sorry, don't worry. I was thinking of the Winter, just the Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Is
Go to
that
movie.
Not quite, not quite.
that's
All
the one I
right.
was thinking.
Um,
Mom podcast? I'm kidding.
this one might be a little bit tough to remember, so I'll kind of help you. What is Lando's best outfit?
Yeah. Um, I think I like the yellow cape one, the traditional. Yeah.
His best pin. Oh no, in Empire. Just joking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know you meant this movie.
That's my favorite too, but not in the
I'll
movie.
say the yellow one as well because it's the only one I remember.
Yeah.
I quite thought the one that he's wearing at the end with the like this not surfers, but there's like a pattern across his shirt of like it's very
I
uh
remember.
tropical. It's like a blue shirt, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe it's a yellow shirt. No, it's a blue shirt.
Uh, I don't
I just said the best pin one because it's the original.
That's fair enough. All right. Last question. Predictions. If there is going to be a Solo 2, what's happening?
So you
uh,
mean what would happen in the movie, or if a second movie
Yep.
will be made?
What's the plot? What's
yeah,
the
what
plot of
would
the
be the
second
plot?
movie?
What would they focus on?
Well, if it was a Solo 2 movie, I would say that it would focus on Solo and Chewie and how they get their reputation as the smugglers. And I'm pretty sure in the movie, are they referring to Jabba the Hutt when they say there's a big gangster in Tatooine? Yeah.
Yep.
I would say getting involved with Jabba the Hutt and doing
Which
things
is
for him.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
Jack?
Similar to Mark, but I also think it's gonna cut between I think the two main characters. Sorry, Chewie. I count Chewie as like a main character with Han because they're always together. So I feel like the main characters would be Han, Chewie, and Kira, and you would see the stuff happening with Crimson Dawn, and the stuff happening with Han and Chewie, which will probably lead to Jabba the Hutt with
I
Crimson
can see why you say that, but for me, the reason I don't say Kira is because the way I see it is their paths have gone separate ways at the end of the first movie.
Dawn. But I think it could
And
be time jump.
I know they have that old relationship with each other, but I think um, Kira is going to get involved more with Maul and doing that sort of thing. And that's why I said specifically a Solo 2 movie, because if they did a movie, one could be, like you said before, a show about Maul that could explain Crimson Dawn, or with the Marauders, and that could be a Rebel show or
Yeah.
something.
I just thought seeing Jabba and him being like a time jump with him hanging with Jabba and doing stuff with Jabba, and then boom, Crimson Dawn, they all have a meeting, and he sees Kira there. Maybe she's upgraded in like a deck of armor or something, and then Maul shows up, and then stuff goes sideways and stuff. Will be so cool.
Yeah, very good.
What about you, Cooper?
Um, I would like to see more of the same. I think definitely progressing Han towards his how we know him and um like him in A New Hope.
Mm.
And also with Crimson Dawn just seeing more progression of that. Maybe there's a bounty on Han and maybe Han flips the bounty and goes in after whoever's trying to come after him. I don't know.
Yeah,
My
bounty hunters
question
versus the smuggler.
is they didn't know it was Han though, did they?
No,
No.
but Kira,
So
who knows, maybe gave him up or something because she's worried about her life or something.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't hope for anything else. I hope we do get it because I think that'd be a really good way to expand the Star Wars universe even more.
Yeah, even if they do a TV show, I think now they're more into that kind of stuff. But it's like if they're doing a Lando one, why can't we do a Solo too? I
Yeah,
mean, it would feel
definitely.
weird going from movie to TV show, but I mean, Obi-Wan has his own TV show. He's in all the movies
It's not
basically.
Marvel.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, why not? Why not do it though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. last thing, because we forgot to do this before, I
Hmm.
want a number ranking.
Oh yes.
I'm gonna
Refresh
need a
us.
reminder of my others.
Okay, Mark. 6.4, 6.9, 8.5. Jack, you were 5.3, 6.1, 9.8.
I
And
think I'm gonna say 6.8.
6.8 for Mark. So better than Phantom Menace, but not as good as Attack of the Clones.
Yep.
We're not comparing it, are we? I thought we're doing individual ones.
No, we
Just
are. I'm just looking at the
yeah, you're just
score
saying.
and yeah.
Because I think all the movies are probably still technically better because it focuses on. Oh, sorry, it's my dog. Focusing on all the actual characters. But I would go 6.7. But I was gonna probably do the same.
Ooh, very similar for
I'm
once.
gonna do the same as Mark. I was thinking more closer to 7.
This has probably been the like most agreed upon
Yeah.
range. There was only point 0.4 between us. I
What did
went
you
with
say, Cooper?
I went 7.1, which is what
Okay.
I gave the Phantom Menace as well.
Okay.
Um, I think
Both Marvel
they
movies.
they both do things. It's completely different stories. It's not really fair to compare them, but I kind of had the same feeling coming out of this one as I did the Phantom Menace.
Yeah, fun,
Yeah,
enjoyable, but nothing too as good compared to the others.
correct.
I was thinking about 7, but like I thought everyone was a bit too generous for that. A little bit
Well,
low.
to be fair, I feel like this movie has like everything you want in a movie, but it just there's something missing from it.
Yeah, I can't explain it. I think it's really hard.
You know what I reckon is missing? And I'm not joking. Harrison Ford.
Yeah,
Ah,
I think honestly, a deep fake, like a really good, like let's just say we had the technology, like perfect technology to do it, just do it with his face over it. I reckon it would be, I reckon it would be unreal because I think it's hard to connect with someone that you just know isn't him. Like, and he,
And that's nothing against Alden,
yeah,
obviously.
I thought he did a great job. But
He
that's
did.
the only issue when you're casting someone different to play a different
Yes.
version of someone iconic. Yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, overall pretty good. Yeah.
All right. We'll leave it at that. Thanks for tuning in. Again, we do appreciate you guys who are checking in weekly with us. We enjoy
We
putting
do.
out the podcasts as much as we hope you guys enjoy listening to them. Next week, we will probably be doing Rogue One, and we've got some very interesting stories to
Ooh.
tell about Rogue One. Um, so that'll be good to explore. But for the moment, we'll leave you there and catch you next week.
See you
Thank
guys
you
later.
very much. Bye
Bye.
bye.
Bye.